Hey y'all, this is Phyllis with Espresso Mischief, and this is part one of my series about raising a CKO, a Chief Kid Officer. One of the things I should mention is that Morgan started out in our business with us when she was 2 years old. That's when we started our business part-time. And yes, I'm driving because I talk better when I'm moving, and since I don't want to walk around, I'm driving around. Actually, I just left the shop. But anyway, she started with us in the business when she was 2 years old, and so this is all she's ever known about her mom and dad. When she was at the market at 2, she walked around and, like I said, interacted with all the different vendors and different things, and some of them would explain stuff to her, some wouldn't, some weren't so nice, which is fine. Everybody don't like kids. But that is, like I said, that's what she was raised on. But when it was time for her to go to school, by the time she went to school, I think for preschool, I think I was still working, but by that time Neil had already quit his job and he was working still at the farmers markets. We had more markets then, but she still got to see us do stuff every day that pertained to our business. We sent her to regular school for preschool, but when it came to kindergarten, we decided to homeschool. And so homeschool allowed us the opportunity to not only give her a formal education, but give her the business education that we were running as well. I highly recommend homeschool for anyone that can do it, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because like I said, you're giving your kids a twofold education. They get to see what you do, and they also get to get the book knowledge. But a key thing to that is that they start to mirror what you do. They start to want to be like mommy and daddy. Okay, let me write a check. Okay, let me read an invoice. And it's not even that they can necessarily do those things, but the fact that they're emulating those things. Now, this may not work for people who already have older children that may be thinking about homeschooling, because your kids probably already got an attitude, they acting nutty. Because Morgan is 10 and she about to work my last year's nerve. But but the thing is, at that early age, when they need that foundation, that's the foundation you're building on. You're already giving them a business foundation to grow on and to teach them about working in the family business. The other thing is, make sure that they know that they own part of this, which is a big thing that we instilled in Morgan early on. She didn't own much because we didn't have much, but we still made sure that she knew that she was part of the family business. People will tell you that homeschool, they concern themselves with, sorry about this, I don't know what I'm doing, but people concern themselves with your child's social skills. Y'all, really, raggedy ass, sorry. Let that be the least of your worries, because sadly today's kids don't know how to socialize anyway, because they're all sitting around with devices stuck in their faces. My child is more social than some adults that I know. She knows more neighbors in our neighborhood than I know, because like I said, we started her on that path of talking to individuals, interacting with people that she met, introducing herself and so forth. And that's a big thing. Teach your kids how to introduce themselves, even if they don't shake hands. Hi, my name is so-and-so. That is a big deal. If your child can get past that point, trust me, they can learn how to have a conversation with someone on any level. But like I said, those are the things. Social skills will come if they are in your business. If you're social in your business, trust me, they're going to see that and they're going to do it, because you're going to make them, as a parent, you know what, go up and shake his hand and introduce yourself. I don't want to. I didn't ask you what you wanted to do. Go shake his hand and introduce yourself, and don't give him that cold fish handshake either. And those are the type of things that we did early on. Like I said, starting at 2 and then at 4. When Morgan got her first job, because Morgan's first job was, she had to shred papers, she had to put stamps on envelopes, she had to do mile filing, which is basically, I just gave her papers and say, here, put this in this folder, and just put the folder. So that was her version of filing, not alphabetizing, but just putting stuff in file folders. Those are the things that she got paid to do. She did not get paid to clean her room. She did not get paid to take out the trash. She did not get paid for doing household chores, which is probably why her room is a mess and she hates taking out the trash. But those are things that, unless you're teaching your child to be the next Molly Mays or whatever, and to go in that type of industry because that's the industry that you know and you can build on, then that's not something you pay your child to do. That is something that you do to take care of your household. It's still a responsibility, but it is not a business responsibility. Morgan had to understand, we would always tell her, is that you see what me and daddy do. Me and daddy go to work every day. So if you want to have what we have, or you want to act like we act, then you got to go to work. And she, like I said, she started working at 4. The other thing is that whenever Morgan saw me doing something at a young age, like I said, she started emulating. When she would see me sitting down at my desk and with my head down and my pen going, "Mommy, what are you doing?" And I would tell her. And she's like, "Okay, well, I want to write a check." "Okay, well, you can't write these checks. I got to get you your own checks." And she created her own checks. She was signing them in crayon and so forth. But she was learning about how to write a check. And then she wanted to know, well, why do you write checks? Well, we have to pay people for certain things. We have to pay bills. Well, what are bills? And like I said, it just starts a conversation with your child about the things that actually go on. And don't be afraid to be honest with your kids about bills and money and all of that kind of stuff. Instead of always wanting to be that parent, well, I want my child to have better. Hell, we all want to have better. Hell, I want better. But that is not something that you want them to aspire to. You want them to aspire to be a better person, but you don't want them to aspire to have better things. Then they get stuck in that whole mentality of the one with the most toys wins, which is what I talk about a lot when I do the high school talks. But teaching your child that, you know what, this is how I do, this is what I do, and they may get an inkling of what they want to do from watching you. So that is my beginning of training Morgan to be a CKO, a Chief Kid Officer. Like I said, I got 10 years to go, y'all. I'm not going to give you all 10 years, but I'm going to give you some stuff of the different things we went through. And like I said, we homeschooled for kindergarten, and she went to regular school. And we'll get to that later on, why we pulled her back out of regular school. So prepare yourself. Go get your kids. Have a real conversation. If you're a boss at work already, but you have a regular 9-to-5, a regular career that requires you to go to someone else's office, when you come home, I don't care if it's for an hour, sit down and act like you're working and doing something. Like I said, this really works with small kids because they're impressionable. Our teenagers and all that crap, they're already getting on your nerves, so they're not going to pick up on it as well. And you boring me, Mom, I don't want to do this. You get all that type of attitude. But if you have young children, trust and know, they will start emulating and watching and trying to do it and be who you are, if that's what you want them to be. Now, let me give you a disclaimer though. Don't try to make your kids into mini yous. You're just teaching them tools and so forth. So when they go out into the real world, don't try to make them a junior executive if that's not what they want to be. If your child is creative, then let their creative side show in what they do. The only thing that you're trying to do is make sure that they understand, like when you get out into the world, if you decide to be an artist, hell, be a boss artist. If you decide to be a writer, be a boss writer, start your own publishing company and so forth. So don't try to inflict all your drama on them because you want your child to be all this, that, and the other. But at least let them understand, like, this is what I do and this is how I do. So that they have those skills and that foundation to build on for when they do finally decide. Because we still trying to figure out Morgan's passion. That chick don't know what she want to do. So if you have any comments, if you have any questions, let me know. Send me a note, send me a message. Both me and Morgan have our own websites. I couldn't think of it, but we both have our own website. She's Morgan Mischief, I am Espresso Mischief. So we'd love to hear from you, and trust to know you'll be hearing from her later on because the chick like to talk. I told you she has no problem being social. Bye for now, and thanks.